In the NBA, we always talk about Stephen Curry as the greatest shooter of all time, the man who revolutionized basketball with his impossible three-pointers and his ability to change a game in just seconds. However, there is another part of his game that often goes unnoticed, and according to several former players, it's what makes him a true enigma on the court. His constant off-ball movement, his ability to break free from defenders, and his knack for getting open at the most critical moments. Today on NBA World, we're going to dive deeper into this special skill of Curry, taking as reference the testimony of Jeff Teague, a former player with 12 NBA seasons under his belt, who faced the chef many times and revealed just how hard it is to play against him. When we think of Curry, the first thing that comes to mind are those wild threes from 30 feet out that seem unreal. But behind those shots lies incredible tactical and physical work. Curry is a complete offensive player, not only because he can dribble, pass, and shoot, but because he knows when and how to move to create advantages. He is a master at using screens, reading defenses, and finding the perfect space to get open and receive the ball in an ideal shooting position. Since the start of their dynasty, the Golden State Warriors have exploited this resource to the fullest. Constant motion, quick ball circulation, and an offensive system built around Steph. But the most fascinating thing is that even without touching the ball, Curry is still a threat. His very presence forces defenses to shift, double team, and make mistakes that often lead to open shots for his teammates. Jeff Teague explained it very clearly on the Club 520 podcast. According to him, guarding Curry is a nightmare because he never stops moving. In his own words, you look one way and Steph cuts the other way. Then you have to chase him. He just causes way too much chaos when he moves. This detail is crucial. Many offensive players wait for the ball in their hands to create plays. Curry, on the other hand, starts working before he even receives it. He runs through screens, cuts across the floor, and forces his defender to chase him non-stop. And of course, with the permanent threat that if you give him even half a second of space, he can hit a three that changes the entire game. Teague, who was an NBA champion with the Milwaukee Bucks in 2021 and spent much of his career with the Atlanta Hawks, admitted that he even preferred defending other elite players rather than Steph. He used Kyrie Irving as an example. At least you know where Kyrie's going to be. You can catch him right there, wherever he is in isolation. In other words, with Kyrie, the challenge is a one-on-one battle in a fixed spot on the court. With Curry, the challenge is doubled. Not only do you have to guard him when he has the ball, but you also have to chase him everywhere he goes, fighting through multiple screens and constant contact that completely wears you down. Teague also made it clear that defending Curry isn't just an individual assignment, it has to be a team effort. An isolation player can be contained with solid one-on-one defense and help schemes. But a player who never stops moving, who uses his teammates as natural shields, and who never runs out of energy, becomes a much more complex problem. That's why when we think about Curry, we can't just reduce him to the best shooter ever. What separates him from other great point guards or shooting guards is his endless stamina, his high basketball IQ, and his ability to create chaos for defenses even when he doesn't have the ball in his hands. In conclusion, Jeff Teague reminds us of something we sometimes overlook. Stephen Curry's true power doesn't just come from his accuracy beyond the arc. His greatest strength lies in his mobility, his knack for appearing where nobody expects him, and his ability to make defenses work every second of the possession. That's why so many coaches consider him unguardable. So next time you watch a Warriors game, don't just focus on the final three-pointer. Pay attention to everything that happens before. How Curry runs, how he fakes his defender, how he weaves through screens, and how, with just a sliver of space, he turns the impossible into routine. That's the real secret of the chef. And now I want to ask you, do you think Curry's off-ball movement is what truly makes him such a unique player in NBA history? Let me know in the comments. Subscribe to NBA World and hit the notification bell so you don't miss more stories like this.